Hello guys, I have a little idea I want to do. See, there are several different types of Sith Inquisitors, and they all have their own different lightsabers. And I was thinking I wanted to design the Seventh Sister's lightsaber, which is this is her. And she has these sort of runes along the edges, and it looks like a really neat sort of construction of it. And I think it'd be a really neat thing to print and then do all the work on it. And it's sort of different than most of my Star Wars items. It's a little bit more pristine looking weapon than I usually end up like doing. So I'll probably do some weathering on it whenever I'm done modeling it. But yeah, this is going to be strictly an aesthetic build. This isn't going to be one that is functional in any way. It's probably not going to spin. I might make it spin, but probably not. I definitely wanted to do some minor articulation, but that shouldn't be too bad. So yeah, I wanted to sort of introduce you guys into the different Inquisitors, and so you guys can kind of see where this lightsaber comes from. I am going to enjoy this one because I think having the Sith runes on the side could be really cool. I do find that it's going to be incredibly delicate, so I'm going to have to be careful about that. And I might have to break it up into a lot more little pieces than I'm used to because of that arch that it has. So I'm going to scroll through these pictures and sort of go into detail with this. So this one is, you can see this arch, and I might want to break into one and then two pieces while I'm printing it. Because this length is probably longer than 200 millimeters. And I'll look into how the exact dimensions of this later. Whenever I start modeling, I'll be able to visualize it better. This is another one I was really interested in. This is a character called Eighth Brother, which here it's called Wolf. This is the character that tried to intercept Maul on Korriban, or I can't remember. It was in Star Wars Rebels. I'm rewatching it, and I saw the Sith Inquisitor lightsabers, and I got excited, and so I'm gonna model one. But I like the Seventh Sister one a lot. Let's see, yeah. So this is hers, and then this is the one that the other Inquisitor that she's paired with, the Fifth Brother. I had to write all that down because I can't remember. Fifth Brother, Seventh Sister, Eighth Brother. Can't remember all that. But this is sort of the Bruiser build, which I thought was kind of neat because it had this sort of element in it. This central element is almost identical to the one that Dooku has. So the center of Dooku's lightsaber sort of had this sort of element. Yeah, by the way, this model is made by Brad Harris, who is an excellent designer at Mattel. And I really enjoyed putting this one together and then doing all the touch-up work on it. But I noticed that some elements are sort of introduced or elongated and put into other lightsabers from different characters. Just I don't know if it's an homage to the other character, which I don't find that they have a lot in common other than their disposable characters for the Sith goals. Some of the key elements I'm going to have to modify to keep an eye on things are these little arches right here and here. So yeah, that's a different one. Whenever I'm modeling the Seventh Sister's lightsaber. Also, something that is neat about this, I kind of had to modify it a little bit in order to get it to close properly. But yeah, the Inquisitor's one closes. That's not a good lightsaber effect, but yeah. Alrighty, so I think that's good enough for an intro. It's a little bit of a lengthy intro, but I might do another one of these because I really like this. I think that's a really good design, and someone spent a good amount of effort putting that one together. And I think getting getting this sort of spinny thing would be really neat. That's going to be a build for another day, though. And I really want to get that one to spin. I don't know. We'll see. Alrighty. Let's get to some modeling. Alrighty. So this is my my image I'm going to go off of, but it's in perspective. So in order to get this in a position where I can get these runes off of it without it being too distorted, I need to get this out of perspective. And I'm just going to bring that into Photoshop and transform it around till it looks all good. Alright, I think I have it in non-perspective as much as I can get it. With some distorting effects, I'm going to be using these two paths. I'm definitely going to have to do some minor tweaking when I put in all the pen paths for all the lettering, but it should be pretty good. All right. So all I'm doing here is just tracing out the curves that I needed to build my three-dimensional objects off of. So a lot of the complicated curves and whatnot I'm doing have to do with the Sith runes, and most of this time is just me drawing it up. There really isn't anything super special about the lines. It's just taking the time to draw them all out. But I find that the more time I spend doing gen curves is the less time I spend actually building my shape. Rhino is just one of those programs where it's easier just to get all the curves out there because that's how you build 3D modeling surfaces in Rhino. It's just doing that. Alrighty. Another day of modeling, or another modeling period. Here I'm just doing more tweaking to my model, making sure that my objects are working correctly, and also a lot of it is tweaking my gen curves a little bit to make sure that they are in the correct, so that they're properly closed and all that. I'm also checking my dimensions, so I am absolutely sure I can fit my my little wings on either side of that lightsaber onto my printer. And then I'm just exporting, and yeah, that's it. I'm ready to print it out and get to some assembly. Oh, it's going to be so cool.
Hello guys, welcome to my office. I have my Inquisitor Lightsaber all 3D printed. I have my two wings, and then I have my center pieces. I have it broken up into a lot of different pieces so that it's easier for me to put together these two things. Now, hopefully, after all that modeling, let's hope that when I put it together, it all works and opens and closes. So let's get to it. Taking off the supports and whatnot. So in a model like this, where you have a delicate thing here and a delicate thing here, if you were to just try to peel this up and take it all out, because this whole center part is support material, what's going to happen is that one of these two corners, or both of them, are going to break whenever you try to twist it out and torque it out. So a good way to deal with that is to create a little separation in the middle, because if you have this little separation in the middle, then it will have space for these two pieces on either side to pivot. So what I'm going to do is just make a little channel in here. So I'll just leave this be like this, although it's like 90% put together. Once I get my feel that I like, which I'm really liking this, the dimensions of your one hand on there work really well. Her hand is smaller than mine and thinner, so it doesn't really quite fit the same, although it is comfortable in my grip, even though it's a thinner hilt than most other lightsabers. So I think that's an interesting sort of feel for her, for the Seventh Sister. All right. I'm going to stop the video and get back to it with gluing the ends on. Or I might paint this. I think I want to paint this because that would be cool. Yeah, gonna do that. All right, later, guys.
So I decided to paint it. I used some Rust-Oleum Automotive Fill Primer to coat my model, and I'm just sanding off the excess and getting it ready for the actual painting process because everything sticks primer.
Hello guys, this is the painting part of my office. Behind me you can see a ton of lightsabers. I printed all of them, but I did not design all of them. Brad Harris actually designed most of those, with a few exceptions. So now let's get to the fun part, the painting. Yeah, all right. So this is the image I'm going off of, and I have this part black, this part metal. Then when it comes to these pieces, all of this is black, all of this is metal. So what I'm going to do first is paint these two big pieces the correct colors of steel, and I will then do the black. Then I'll also paint these that color. I'm just going to use a paintbrush. I'm not going to use the airbrush here because I don't want as clean of a feel for it, and I think the brush will work a little bit better for me in getting all the nooks and crannies over an airbrush. So yeah, let's get to it. I'm going to start with basic sort of acrylic tones because I usually like to start in a base tone and then work out from there. So I'm going to start off with my base colors, which in this case is just a basic steel. And it's okay to go thin, especially when you're doing something like this.
God, I love the time lapse of this. I'm looking at this now and doing the editing and all that, but it's kind of fun watching me monkey around and do all the painting and just it being super fast dry. It's like da 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 da. All of a sudden everything's done. It's kind of neat. Yeah, painting stuff is kind of fun. I like it.
Alright, so I'm supposed to use safety glasses while using an X-Acto at work. That's why I'm wearing them. But yeah, I did the long method of putting on masking tape. And I'm trying out this method where I just lay it on and then cut it with my X-Acto here.
So that method ended up working out pretty well, where I laid down all the fabric, or rather all the tape, and then I used my X-Acto to cut it, and I got a really nice clean edge. I still had to do some touch-up work with the smaller paintbrush and just cleaning up things that slip through the painter's tape. Sometimes if the painter's tape is too tight, the watery part of the acrylic just sort of seeps into it. So yeah, and I'm just trying to get my clean lines, doing it on both pieces, and soon it's going to be the fun part, the weathering.
Alright, I am now done with the basic buttons, and I'm leaving this button a little weird just to show myself why you're supposed to do everything carefully, but yeah. But I think those buttons came out nice. So, I got this. And I'm going to start the weathering process, which is essentially just taking paint, pushing it in, wiping it off. Pretty simple, but it takes a little bit of finessing to get it how you want it. So, all right. So I'm making this look like it's been left on the underground city on Malachor. Yeah. So I'm making this look like she has already been killed and this lightsaber was just left there. So that's why I'm going after this sort of dirty look. I'll add in some brown and stuff later, but I'm still working on the basics for these rings. And once this is all done, I'm going to start working on the two wings, and then I'll work on the central part of the hilt, and then assembly. So, but that's after all the weathering.
So I think the weathering is one of the most fun processes to do and also kind of watch. Yeah, I'm just rubbing in oil paint and then I'm wiping it away. That's essentially it. But it takes a lot of finessing with wiping it away and choosing what to wipe away and getting that all dialed in just right is a lot of fun. Anyway, now assembly.
Hello friends, I am at the last stage of my build. I'm just going to put together my lightsaber and show it off whenever it's all done. Alright. So this is, I only needed to glue a few things here so far, but I think that's looking pretty good. The acetone in the spray kind of messed with some of my paint, so I'm going to be a little bit careful with that going in. Alright, so in theory, in about, a few seconds I should be able to move this without it breaking, which it might, which is fine. This is a process. So, oh, look at that. Okay. True, it's not perfect. Last touch, the little rings on the top and the bottom. There it is! Oh my god, it's all put together. Hopefully it won't fall apart. It'll probably do fine. Yep, the only thing that sort of messed with me with this is that I sort of fiddle-farted with it a little bit too much, and I sort of weakened some of the rings by putting it together and taking it apart so many times. But I think it worked out. It's functional. You can open and close it. So it closes. If you carefully close it with my model, because I mess with it a lot of times, but yeah. All right, so here it is. Ta-da! I have the little rings on there on the top and the bottom. I have the runes on both sides. It's inset well, so you can sort of see everything. And then, of course, it opens up. One of the rings is a little delicate in my model. That's my fault. That's not the model's fault. All right, and then there it is open. Yeah. Heck yeah! It's all put together. Anyway, well, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time. I hope you enjoyed this Sith Inquisitor build. Later.
Thank you very much for watching, and please remember to subscribe. And turn your notifications on so you don't miss any new videos. Yeah, I'm still new at this, but I'm trying to post roughly every other week, so yeah, later.